the most effective overview videos are the ones that can understand that, we don't need to say everything. We need to say the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Hi, and welcome to Unlocked, a podcast about growing your business through the power of video. I'm Dan, your host, owner, and creative director at Blue Key Media. And today I'm joined with Tori,
Hello.
one of our own. He is our cinematographer and editor at Blue Key.
I am.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me on, Dan.
Yeah, and we are going through a 5-part series talking about the 5 videos every industrial and manufacturing company should be making to stand out from the competition and cut through the noise of marketing.
Yeah. And we're going to start with the overview video, which is, very high level, explaining kind of who you are to potential customers. And I feel like that's a great one that if you're just dipping your toes into video, that's a really good starter one.
Yeah. And overview video is probably the most common or well thought of video. It's the one people will usually talk about if they're first getting into video. They say we want an overview video, and understandably, because like you said, it gives a good high level of what you do and what you're about. So.
Yeah. And kind of you can kind of establish an emotional connection right away and give a feel for your company's presence. But with it being one of the most popular ones, I think there's a lot of downfalls that also come with that, and being the one video that companies are willing to start investing in when they, maybe are just kind of seeing if video is for them. And one of the most common pitfalls, I think, would be trying to say everything about your company in one single video.
Yeah. It happens all the time. People want to maximize, especially if it's an initial investment.
Yeah.
They want to maximize their dollar and get the most out of the video. And they think by doing that, it's by cramming everything into the video and saying, listing every single thing that you do. And
you can't miss a single spec about your company. You're trying to say like who you are and who you hire and what you can do and what you might be able to do in the future. Like you're saying way too much, and it can really water down the message, but it's also super understandable, why you would want to do that. But I think that the most effective overview videos are the ones that can understand that, we don't need to say everything. We need to say the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is the challenge of what is that single message that needs to be communicated. What's the one that we ask this all the time of our clients, but what's the one thing that the viewer absolutely has to know? If they were to walk away with one thing from the video, what is that? It applies to every video we create, but is really practical in the overview video to distill a lot of what a company does down to its core. And really it usually is more about the why than the what, because companies do all sorts of different things, but usually there's a common why that is behind the reason they're doing things, the problems they're solving, that you're able to tap into, and is a great place to start. So, and something we'll talk about as we go through the series on these more external facing videos is the sales funnel. And a lot of people might know what the sales funnel is. Some might not. It's the idea of, a prospect is going through different stages of the buying journey. You start off at awareness. They are just becoming aware of a problem that they have, and they need to find a solution. Then once they have identified what their problem is, they go into the consideration stage. And consideration is all about what are my options out there? What companies are out there? What different solutions are there for my problem? And then they move down to the decision phase, where it's determining, okay, I have, 2 or 3 different companies I can go with or different solutions I can choose. Which is right for me?
Yeah.
And the overview video falls generally in the awareness. And the overall goal is to build awareness about your brand, build emotional connection, And I think that emotional connection is a really big piece to tap into.
Yeah, and that's another theme you see across pretty much any video you're going to make is that we are emotional creatures, so appealing to emotion is a good thing. And in that awareness stage, creating a strong feeling with it's like a movie trailer, right? Like the overview video is basically you're cutting the trailer hoping that people will go, ooh, that was intriguing. Now I want to, go on the IMDb page and read what the plot is,
Yeah, right.
or who's in it, or whatever that might be. So you really are just trying to you're just trying to tickle people, right?
Yeah.
You just want to get their attention.
Exactly. It's about capturing the attention of someone because a lot of the times overview videos are placed on the homepage of a company's website.
Yep.
Might be used in some sort of advertising, and you only have so long. And that's another common mistake that we can talk about too is length and things being too long because you're trying to say too much. But you might only have 15, 20 seconds before somebody makes up their mind.
Yeah.
And so you need to be super clear on what that message is, what you want them to walk away with.
Yep.
If you have that single message, you can make it a lot more concise and short and likely capture their attention in that short span that you have.
Yeah. I think when you're going about planning, as we will say, I think with every video we talk about is collaborate early with the company you're going to be working with to produce the video. I think clearly defining what the ending emotion needs to be and what the one thing that sticks in the brain, like you were saying, like what is that one thing that you need them to know about you and walk away with, and craft the message around making sure those are maximized instead of burying them in a sea of well, we do this and we do this and we do this and we do this. Like you're gonna lose the message that way. And so I think that the constraint of keeping a video shorter, if you make, as opposed to doing a 5-minute video, if you do a 1-minute video, it's a creative box that forces you to really figure out, okay, what does need to be here?
Yeah, definitely. And it's challenging, especially complex businesses. How do you distill that into 1 minute or 2 minutes? But talking about ideal length, I think that 1 to 2 minute range really is that ideal length that you should be aiming for.
Yeah.
Unless you have a captive audience.
Right.
And that's another conversation to be had about
where
do you place the video or how are you using it determines so many different things, right?
Yeah.
How you use it and who's watching it will massively impact a video.
Yeah.
And if you aren't thinking about those things, you likely are going to be creating video that just misses the mark or doesn't resonate with the right person,
or just isn't maybe as standout as you want it to be, right? It could be like, yeah, that's a good video, just like all the other good videos I've seen, rather than like, oh, that was something special right there. And I think that also thinking about it in terms of your company's larger plans for video. If this is the first one and you got the budget for it in marketing this year, but you're going to be making videos, 1 or 2 videos a year for the next 3 years, think about that, because you might start with the overview video and you might feel like you're not saying enough, but then maybe next year you're doing something diving deeper, doing a service offering or specialty video, right? And it's like, so you will be saying the points that you want to make. You just got to wait a little bit longer. But think about it in the overall, the campaign or the goal that your company has for video, I think is.
Yeah. And there's that saying where if you try and be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to no one.
I think that's right.
Is that right?
That sounds right.
It's that idea of if you're trying to say everything, you end up saying nothing.
Yeah.
And so pick the one thing you're going to say.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, save it for another video to say another point. And, this 5-part series we're talking about, it's the overview video, the product/service video, the testimonial video, recruiting video, and then internal video. So there's different categories, and you can tailor each video to maximize, the use case that it's going to be used for. The
specific message for
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So, and the overview video is like what we said. It's the initial contact point with your business.
Yeah.
It's not the last contact point.
No.
And the hope is through other marketing means too. Like video is not the end all be all. Video is powerful.
Yes.
But it's not a replacement.
Yeah, I feel like I forgot to mention, like, when I mentioned fitting it into the rest of your greater campaign, that applies to like the entire marketing campaign. So like I said, it's the movie trailer, right? So get people's attention with the overview video, but then have the detailed information on your website, have a place for them to go, ooh, that looked interesting. I'm going to go to X company website and read more about it, or I'm going to check out their LinkedIn, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah. It's just, you need to sell them on the idea that you're worth spending more time on.
Yeah.
And then you hit them with more videos or white papers or whatever it might be, whatever is the right thing. But that is the power of the overview video is really giving the viewer a general feeling about your brand, that it's something that can make their life easier, solve their problem, something they need in their life, to improve it.
That being said, I feel like before we end this episode, we should also talk about where the best place to put it is. So we kind of mentioned like it goes on websites oftentimes, or maybe being used in like a meeting or something like that. But is there any places that you think that companies are maybe underutilizing overview videos?
Yeah, there's the obvious spots, right? Your website. And it isn't actually all that obvious because more often than not, I think companies put it on their website, but don't put it in the right spot.
Sure, it's buried. Like you have to do 3 clicks to get to where the video is.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you put it on a page that is very infrequently trafficked, right?
Yeah.
Like we said, the purpose of the overview video is it's that initial point of contact to get them to go further on your website. If it's on your about page or contact us page or 2 layers deep, chances are they're never going to make it there.
Right.
And
this is going to be the thing that funnels them there instead of, oh, I'm going to go to this website. Like,
So either have it on a landing page, that's the first thing they interact with, or your home page. Make sure it's on a page that is the most trafficked one, so that you have a higher chance of keeping them around longer. Sending it in emails is great. I mean, if you're doing cold outreach, it can be a great introduction piece to succinctly share your message. And especially like in the day of email, everyone's getting emails. If you can embed a video in an email, open rates are significantly greater.
Yeah.
When this is a different type of video, but one of the videos we created for Harris, they did an email campaign with it and like had a crazy open rate. I can't remember what the exact statistics were, but great open rates, and then I ended up getting 900 leads because the video was there, and that just was something that attracted people. So email's a great spot. Like you'd mentioned, meetings and like sales meetings, presentations, really great spot. You can have it in trade shows. I mean, it's a really versatile video. It can be used in advertisements.
And I also think that every company should be putting stuff up on YouTube because YouTube is Google results, right? Like it's the kind of stuff that's going to populate. So just having it on YouTube, putting a couple keywords in the title and the description and stuff like that, it's, why not? It's free. It's right there for you to use.
True. So I usually recommend against YouTube for like embedding it on your website, only because the suggested videos that pop up might be your competition or might be something that's like negative for the brand. So
I would agree with that. You keep those separate. But I do think having it on YouTube is ultimately going to be a benefit.
Because YouTube is the second largest search engine next to Google.
And people use YouTube oftentimes to ask questions. Like they type stuff in like, how do I build a birdhouse? Here's how you build a birdhouse. How do I, find the right machinist? Well, there you are,
So those are my recommendations, and you can get even more creative with it. But those are, I think, the obvious spots to go within. Social media. I mean, social media is a given. Are there any other do's or don'ts of the overview video that you feel like we haven't covered yet?
I feel like we got most of the big ones. It's really just about going in with a plan, making sure you're collaborating with the people who are going to be making the video, and making sure that you know the tone you want to strike, you know the emotions you want to hit, and you're not pushing it to be 6.5 minutes long, right? You be very tactical with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have that single message, the single takeaway. You said, what's the feeling you want to walk away with? That's really great too. And then to go like another step further, what is the like mindset shift that you need to make? Because that's another thing, is thinking about the mindset shift of the viewer.
Sure.
And how is this video kind of influencing that, and tone and emotion and all of that plays a role into it. But yeah, I think that wraps up everything about the overview video.
Yeah.
And on the next episode, we're going to talk about product videos, service videos, and the do's and don'ts of that.
Yeah, so this was like the high level one, and next episode we're going to get into like the little bit more nitty gritty, when you can say some more of that like technical stuff, get a little deeper than just the overview video. So
great.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Unlocked and our 5-part series. If you have any questions that came up from this conversation, or maybe you want to have us answer other questions in future episodes, email us at hello@bluekeymedia.com. We'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, make sure to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Blue Key Media. This has been another episode of Unlocked. Thanks for tuning in.